Hi everyone, my name is Jaden and I make animation industry career advice content. So if you'd like to learn more about how to pursue a career path in animation, make sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned for my future videos. Today we're going to be talking about different ways that you can gain entry-level experience before landing your first ever job in animation. One of the ways that we're going to do that is talking about ships. All the different ships, apprenticeships, internships, fellowships, scholarships, and more. We're going to be discussing the differences between them, the benefits, eligibility requirements, as well as some recommendations for different programs that I also have personal experience having participated in. So let's kick things off with internships. This is the most commonly known way of gaining some experience before your first job, but the only downside to internships is that only students are eligible to participate in them. So if you're like me, where you already graduated and you're no longer enrolled in a college or university, this can be kind of tricky to navigate. So here is a general breakdown of the requirements for internships. You typically must be a student enrolled in a college or university, like I mentioned earlier. Internships tend to be pretty short term, averaging about 10 to 12 weeks. And depending on the studio's discretion, internships can either be part-time, full-time, remote, in-person, hybrid, etc. So regardless of whether the internship ends up being part-time or full-time, you still have to give full-time availability for the duration of the program. So this means you have to be available 40 hours in the week, even if you're not working a full 40 hours in the week, if that makes sense. So this means you typically can't be enrolled in classes for the semester when your internship is taking place, and you can't hold down any other outside jobs during the duration of the program as well. So it's a full-time commitment, even if you may not be given 40 hours a week during your internship experience. So again, for internships, the biggest distinguishing factor is that they're for students only. You have to be a student currently enrolled in a college or university to be eligible. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is apprenticeships. So apprenticeships function like a trainee program where it basically offers on-the-job paid training. Opposite to internships in the sense that you don't have to be a student enrolled in a university, apprenticeships are open to postgraduates and graduates as well. Apprenticeships tend to run for a little bit longer, anywhere between 6 months to a year on average. And again, you must be fully available for the duration of the program, but with apprenticeships, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a full-time commitment. You're actually going to be working 40 hours a week, unlike an internship, which tends to lean more towards part-time hours. A couple of examples of apprenticeships that just come up off the top of my head are the Nick Artist program, their writing program as well. Anytime you see a program that says apprenticeship or even trainee in it, they tend to be within the same nature. Trainee and apprenticeship kind of go hand in hand. So those are the main differences between internship and apprenticeship. Both of them provide on-the-job paid experience. The main differences between the two is just one might be more full-time while the other one is more part-time. One lasts longer than the other, and one requires you to be a student while the other one does not. The next one that we're going to talk about is mentorships. A mentor is usually somebody who is seasoned in their craft and takes you under their wing to teach you everything that they know. Unlike the previous opportunities I talked about, mentorships most of the time tend to be unpaid. Again, you're usually being paired with somebody who is knowledgeable in the field that you want to thrive in, and they're there to serve as your guide and share their experiences with you. Mentorships are what I have the most experience in because up until this point, I've participated in 2 of them. My first one was in a group setting, while my second mentorship was one-on-one. My first one was the Women in Animation Showrunner Mentorship Circle. That's where I met my mentor, Curtis, who I also interviewed at some point. So if you haven't seen that video already, I'll place a link of it in the description. But in that mentorship experience, I learned a lot about pitching and what goes into show running, the development process of how a series is developed and picked up from the pitching stages all the way through green lighting. So it was a really cool experience. I learned a lot. I met some really cool people. If you want to learn more in depth about what my experience was like, I can always make that in a separate video. So let me know in the comments below if you'd like to hear more about it. And my second mentorship was one-on-one with a producer from Riot Games, sponsored by Latinx in Gaming. And notice how these two mentorship opportunities came about from me being involved in two different organizations, Women in Animation and Latinx in Gaming. So in a previous video, I've talked about my volunteer work and different organizations that you can get involved in. So that kind of goes hand in hand with mentorships. And just a quick disclaimer, you don't have to necessarily seek a mentorship through a specific program or organization. Another way to achieve a mentorship is to just build a genuine connection with somebody. In a previous video, I also talked about networking etiquette techniques. So one of the benefits that comes from networking is as you start to build relationships with people, you can look to them to seek advice. Once you've reached a good place or you've built that rapport with the person, you can always ask them for feedback on your work if they have the time, and they can regularly check in with you. And that in itself can kind of serve as a form of mentorship. So you don't necessarily have to wait to get selected through some kind of program to gain a mentorship experience. You can create that experience yourself just by building those genuine connections. And speaking of mentorships, this is something that I myself have wanted to offer to you, my viewers. Right now, my channel is still slowly growing. I'm really close to hitting my first 1,000 subscribers and halfway towards unlocking membership perks. If you want to help support my channel in my growth, please consider subscribing to my channel, like my videos, share them with a friend, and get the word out to help me reach those watch hour goals and subscriber goals. Once I am able to unlock the membership tier, I was thinking of one of the perks that I could offer is mentorships for being a member on my channel. So memberships, that's another ship that we're going to talk about. So aside from me trying to achieve membership status on my channel, you can also become a member at different organizations that I've talked about in my previous videos, like Latinx in Animation, Women in Animation, Animations, Black and Animated, etc. There's all of these great nonprofit organizations that becoming a member allows you access to different mentorship opportunities and these internal programs. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, but also check out these organizations. I'll be linking them in the description down below if you want to take a look. Now, something more recently I've come across that is typically offered by nonprofit organizations is fellowships. So fellowships tend to be more academic in nature, and they focus more on building your repertoire of skills in your respective field. Sometimes there is a project attached so you can apply what you've learned to something tangible. And sometimes that project can add as a portfolio piece, if you're in an art fellowship. Or it could be practical soft skills or hard skills as well, just to develop your tool set. But you want to think of a fellowship as an extension of your educational training. There are fellowships out there that cater to a specific demographic or create more opportunities for marginalized creative folks. So again, take a look at those nonprofit organizations. They're usually the first ones to offer these fellowship opportunities. The last ship that we're going to talk about, which is also tied into educational training, is scholarships. There are some scholarships that are only available to students, again, that are currently enrolled in a college or university, and they're usually like a grant or a sum of money that goes towards paying for a course or a semester's worth of learning that can go towards the field that you're interested in. So scholarships can either cover college credits towards a course, or it could even be a workshop online or different learning opportunities. But all in all, they're more tied to academics, similarly to how fellowships are. Back when I was in school, I earned a scholarship that covered about a semester's worth of credits. I think it was like 12 credits or so. And again, they're great opportunities to help you fund your education if you choose to go to school for your art. So again, scholarships and fellowships are two ways that you can gain experience while simultaneously furthering your education as well. Other ways that you can broaden your knowledge and experience are also one-time workshops or intensive programs as well. I'll talk about this in another video, but Aside from going to school for art, again, if you choose to go to college or university for your art, there are also so many resources online to learn your craft without having to go through all these like prerequisites that school usually requires you to do. So that way you can just take core classes that focus on the exact skills that you want to sharpen to broaden your portfolio or area of expertise. Of course, if you want further resources or to learn more about all of these different programs and ships that I talked about, I'll be linking all of them in the description down below so you can always peruse and take a look and see what might interest you. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up because once again, I'm really close to reaching my monetization goals. Please help me get there. It's completely free to subscribe to my channel and share my videos with your friends, and doing so helps me a lot. And I really appreciate it, so please do so. If you have suggestions for other topics you'd like me to cover, or if I happen to miss anything in all these different programs that I talked about, feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!